Well, I did mean to do this during the day, but got done the qualifiers. It was muddy at that point, and I went home, had a shower, get a little shave, get a little cleaned up, and then left. I was a little late getting out of Northfield Park, 7 o'clock. Exit from Northfield Park. In the trailer with me is what are their names? My Mini Miracle. And Laugh Now, the two horses we bought at the Ohio sale. Now, let's go all the way to the start of today real quick. Got up this morning, had a number of horses to train. Jason had trained some yesterday. They've been training pretty hot, so Jason trained some yesterday. I went with a bunch today. I guess the standout string procrastinator was good today, very good today. A little close to his knee, so we're going to make a few little changes with him, but paced a real good last quarter. Him and Confederate Cruiser trained together. They're still about 3 weeks away, minimum. Trained Twinbee Habanero today. He was better. Not looking to make a break. Was pretty good. Last half of a mile and a half in 2:16. So he still felt a little soft finishing up, but he's been going those slower miles. This was probably the first day we busted him loose. He went a good mile. So he's probably 3 weeks from any sort of real heavy lifting, but getting there. Today was much, much better than he was the last time I trained him. So definite improvements. He's starting to get big and look good on the track. So the rest should follow in tow. 1-2 skip a few. Seemed a little footsore today. You know, this filly, she just is what she is. She's a good filly, but she's going to have to work her way to the track just like she did last year. She never shies away from anything. Very, very happy with 1-2 skip a few. I think her back probably is a little sore. I know they had drawn blood thinking maybe she tied up. Just with the hard track and the weight that she is on, little rickety, so I told them, take all that weight off of her for the next 3 weeks and just gallop her. I don't want her training on the trot. It's stressful for her. And she goes with so much weight that it can cause secondary issues, right? I don't mind putting the weight on her to race. She's already there. We can work on her throughout the week, but when she's progressing towards the races, it's a lot of heavy lifting. So I just told them to shy away from that and just gallop her. She enjoys galloping. She's smart about it. She has fun out there. So just gallop her for the next 3 weeks until we get that power into her, that speed into her, and then put her in the race bike, go a mile and 2:10. And that's probably what we'll do with 1-2 skip a few. This isn't new to her. This is carbon copy of last year. So 1-2 skip a few was fine. Yeah. Who else? We qualified a number of horses. I think I'm missing one. Oh, I trained. So generally when you go to the sale and you buy horses, you know, jog them a few days, train them up. But I wanted to know if I was going to bring these horses home. You know, what's Laugh Now all about? Is he any good? You know, is there something wrong with him? Does he have some horrible habit that has cost him his 2- and 3-year-old season? Now, I got a little bit of a lowdown. I talked to somebody that used to take care of Laugh Now in Canada, said that he was very sick and almost died this year at the start of I think he said this year at the start of the summer, had pneumonia. There's no indications of any issues with that, and I looked today as best I could with a vet. But he said, you know, bad attitude, that's why we gelded him. You know, could be a little rude and ignorant. When I spoke to the trainer that we just got him off of, a funny story, the guy asked if he could buy some more buy shares in the horse. He liked him. He said he just didn't think that he could get him. You know, he thought there was something there. He just couldn't get to it, which, pretty cool guy. I don't know Logan Powell, but he seems like a really nice guy. He does good at the track. So unfortunately for him and a lot of our clients, there were no shares left of Laugh Now, but I thought that was pretty interesting that he wanted to have a talk with me about the horse, and that was before this morning. So it was funny. I get to the barn and I had a very specific set of shoes that I wanted on Laugh Now, and for the other filly also. I watched the races for the other filly, so by watching her races, you know, here's how I arrive at a lot of the equipment changes, at least the foundation of how we hang horses up. Look at their videos. Remember horses that look like this. I have a good memory for some things, and when it comes to equipment that was on horses, or what we did to combat this or that, or how we alleviated some issues with horses that look like My Mini Miracle. It gives you, I believe, a blueprint, a path forward to a shortcut to where you need to be. It doesn't always work, but a lot of times it does. So watched a number of videos from My Mini Miracle, put the shoes on her, had the blacksmith there, put the shoes on her that I wanted on her, and went out. And as I said, race January 31st. So you don't think for the last 9 days they did a whole lot. Did they jog her? Did they turn her out in the field? I don't know. So I put all the gear on her I wanted to race her in, right? From what I saw on the track. Jogged her 2 miles, and at that point I'm watching her, right? Does she sweat up easy? Is she stressed out? Is there any indication she might tie up? Wish we had this much light the whole way home. Is she comfortable out there? Can she do a little more work? I turned her and scooted her along a little bit. I was really, really impressed with my Mini Miracle. Really, really happy with that filly. Like the way she trots. I like her spunk. And she was fine after. I didn't know if we'd do any work with her, but certainly didn't want to do too much work with her. So turned her out, put her in her stall. She got her lunch later on, $8 lunch, felt great. So she was a green light to come back to Ontario with me. Same thing with the other guy. Now, I went down to the blacksmith shop, and Enos there, we have a big Amish blacksmith, really nice man, very good blacksmith. And he said, what do you want to put on her? Or on him? And I said, well, I want to put the 5/8 turned around backwards up front and egg bars behind. Oh, okay. He said, I'm going to put trotting boots on him, trotting hobbles on him, head pulled to the left, line pulled to the right, closed bridle. He said, hey, how would you know that? You never saw video for the horse? You don't know anything about him? I said, it's easy. I'm going to hang him up like a sister, and I'm going to go from there. So the same gear that we wore on Horn Player, and make no mistake, they're both by totally different sires and don't look anything alike. They look exactly alike, but I would envision Laugh Now is what Horn Player looked like as a fetus. He's much smaller, she's a giant, and Laugh Now is a small horse. So I hung him up just like her, and I went out, and I remember Logan saying he was jogging great the right way, but when you go to turn him to go the racing way, just seemed green, didn't want to do his work, looked around, and didn't trot. I trained him mile 25 this morning, which probably wasn't smart, right? He just felt really good when I trained him, so I let him trot along a little bit. But again, he told me he'd been on the wheel and working him. Now, I guess the deciding factor on me working him today was Lauren and Timmy know Logan really well and said, no, he usually puts him on the wheel, swims them, they get the work. And I can tell this guy, when I was on the track, jogging a mile and a half, 2 miles. Now, again, I'm watching his body language. Is this horse going to be okay to train? Does he seem comfortable on the track? He felt sharp as a tack and very comfortable. So I did. I turned him 1 mile. And I would say between, now, I guess the backstory, the middle story, I guess, the backstory was what had happened in Ontario. The current story was with Logan selling the horse. But the middle story is where Logan got him. Logan bought him at an Amish sale at Mount Hope not that long ago, maybe 7 weeks ago or so, for $7,000. And of course, he couldn't get him to trot the way he wanted, so he put him in the Ohio sale. There was no lameness issues today. We looked at him after. His breathing was fine. His output was fine. There didn't seem to be any diminished capacity when it came to his breathing or cardio in that regard. And that probably goes back to when the Amish had him. They worked him hard, likely. And when Logan had him, by all accounts, this kid, he works him really hard also. So good for him, because I went a mile and 25 of them. He couldn't blow a match out when he came in. That's a good indicator where he's at, what he's able to do. When the Amish have him, they don't really care about racing him. They're just putting work into him because he's going to be working. So there's no, I want a mile and 2.8 with him or 2:10. No, I don't know when the last time he trained a mile, at least a flat mile was, but it wasn't for a while. But today's, I'm going to put all that aside, push it all aside, and just look at the horse. He went a mile and 2:25 and did it very easy. $8 lunch, was comfortable after. He's in the back of the trailer also. Ran some fluids in them, gave them a little anti-inflammatory to come back home, keep their stress level low in the trailer. Be right back at it jogging tomorrow, and then we'll continue on with both of them. Now, I can't really give you any indicators as to when Laugh Now will be ready. He'll tell me over the next 3 weeks when he'll be ready. The other filly only raced in January 31st, so should be ready soon enough. I suspect, let me see. Today's Wednesday. If she comes out of her training mile good today and is comfortable tomorrow on the track, I I know that James is planning on taking Eggler AM and Will to Win Hanover to the track early Saturday before our training, before we train the babies. I might be able to sneak her over there also for a training trip at Mohawk. I think the way she did it today, she was very comfortable. So again, I don't know how much work she had in the last 8-9 days, but I know what I saw today. Was a very comfortable filly. One, in the shoes that we had on her, that we just put on her, was quite a change. And two, the equipment we put on her. But on the track, the further we went, the more comfortable she got. And then again, came in, looked good, and cooled out well, ate her lunch, seemed fine getting on the trailer. Really nice mare. I like both these horses. So very happy in that regard. Then we had the qualifiers today, qualified 5 horses. Really, the only horse that has let me down all week was Granite Hill, and he set the bar pretty low this year, so it wasn't really much of a letdown. I know that this was not Granite Hill today that we had been training down. I trained this course in a freezing cold day 3 weeks ago, 2-3, coming half from 1-1. Then Timmy said he trained him also in 2-3. He should have been ready, especially after what I saw from Matt's MVP. He should have been able to be ready to go around 2-1, 2-2, and he was terrible today. I think he tied up, so we're going to draw his blood tomorrow and see, but I'm almost positive that Granite Hill tied up today. So you'd want to hope he tied up because he didn't scope bad, couple of flecks of blood, but no mucus, which means he was working hard. Pretty hard to work hard going to 2-9 unless there's something else going on. So we'll see how bad he tied up, and then we'll formulate a plan from that number. It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, but I can tell you one horse that's ready to rock right now is Matt's MVP. Honestly, if we had all this paperwork ready, he might have been in to go next week at Mohawk. And I know Will Hepburn, one of our clients, been a good guy now. I've got to know him a little bit over the year. He said, really? He said, he tried 57 right now at Mohawk and obliterate a maiden. Now, the only reason I wasn't rushing around to try and get something done for right away for him was stake start on April 11th, I believe, this year for the 3-year-olds. That would be the Hackett, so we are going to aim him towards the Hackett, but that's 60 days away almost. So I would say Nominers 1, Nominers 2 gets him 3 starts, maybe 4, and I don't want to put a whole bunch of starts in him also. So I'd like 3 starts in 8 weeks. So there's no rush with Matt's MVP. Just super happy with him. He felt like a professional. The rail on a half-mile track for a horse that his attitude and work ethic was skeptical last year. Very skeptical last year. For him to bounce out, no hobbles on, just a set of trotting boots behind, and go out and qualify as professionals did. Those were not just aged horses, aged pacers he was in with. Moved him first over, settled him in the 3-hole getting into the last turn, moved him again halfway around the last turn, put a step in, but the track was actually very bad. Very bad at Northfield. It was felt like there was some frost holes coming out in. I was surprised they got raced tonight, and I'm going to be quite honest with you. Qualifier 5, we had 2 horses in it, and if Qualifier 5 had been Qualifier 8, I wouldn't have qualified them. That's how bad the track was getting. We were in the midst of it turning bad. I think they gave 2 seconds for it, and if you were outside of 3 leaving gate, I don't know if 2 seconds was fair. It was deep. From like 4 out, it was starting to get really muddy. The ice was starting to run down, the water was starting to run down the track. It was nasty. And Matt's MVP went a huge mile, put a couple of steps in the last turn and caught himself. And then running down an aged horse, an aged pacer nonetheless. So a big mile from Matt's MVP. Very impressed with that horse today. He's come a long way. He hit a black belt in piggery last year. He just, every way you could get out of work and be ignorant, he was well versed in almost all of them. And sometimes it does pay off to turn a horse out and let him mature. Maybe they'll decide they do want to be a racehorse, and that's exactly what it appears happened, because Matt's MVP was certainly all systems go today. He looked very good. Kathy with an eye was good. She was okay. She needs some work. We scoped her after, no blood, no mucus, no nothing, no irritation in the lung area, which is good because the filly had pneumonia last year. I think this is just a big lobster of a filly that's going to need some work, right? She's going to need miles into her. Today wasn't a great day for her. Of course, like Matt's MVP is going to power through that track a lot easier than a Kathy with an eye. So 2.3, 2.4, 32 on the end of it. Let's try and turn that into 2.1, 30 on the end of it. It's going to take 3 starts. So Kathy's going to have to do some heavy lifting. I certainly can't race her off that line. Let's go for another qualifier, see how she qualifies, and then we'll go from there. But I wasn't super disappointed, but I would like to see a little more of a flicker from her. But we'll see. We'll see. What else do we have? The 2 aged horses, 4-year-olds. I'm a Lovely Lady and Mama Knows Best did well. Kurt Sugg went with both of them. Now, I didn't catch up to him after, but I did see him briefly, and he certainly didn't say there was any issues going on. They certainly look good to me. Both these fillies fit in that class, I believe, that our boy Jekyll and Hyde is going to try and get out of tonight. If that happens, Jekyll will be Dunzo and Mama. And now, I guess a real cool piece of information that even I didn't know. So there. I see Mama Knows Best jogging up to the paddock. No hobbles on. I said, where are you going there, Sparky? He said, fillies in the 4th. I said, yeah. What about her hobbles? What qualifier are they in? He said, oh, we have been training her with hobbles on. He said, she's never had hobbles on yet? Now, keep in mind, this filly won in 58 of these, her first lifetime start without hobbles. So it's not like she needs them desperately. Just switching gears last year, she touched herself and made breaks in weird places. So I was a little surprised. I said, well, if we qualify her and then we race her, we don't like how she looks, we can race her in Pennsylvania. You don't need to qualify with hobbles on to put them on or take them off in Pennsylvania. So that's what we'll do. I thought she looked great qualifying. Very good mile, and Kurt was very protective of them, for sure. So I was super happy about that. Got my pulp. So we had the qualifiers, we had the training sets today. We got our 2 horses in the back coming back to Ontario with me, Laugh Now and My Mini Miracle. I suspect you'll see My Mini Miracle maybe show up next week. She's only been off 9 days. I'd like to get her to the vet in the middle of the week too. She feels a little rusty, gets her bum over on the shaft a little bit, gets running in on top of the poles, and will run out coming out of the turn. Normal 4-year-old stuff. 4-year-old stuff for sure, but I want to make sure. I looked at a number of her videos last night. I went over them, and yesterday before the sale, Kentucky, Dover. Like what I see. Think that she can maybe be helped a little bit, but we'll see. I think the biggest help will be the class she fits. Now there's a 3 at Mohawk. I think she fits in there. Felt like she had a little pop, a little power today. So we'll see how she plays out. Let's see how everything plays out Saturday for her. We'd sneak her over to Mohawk, get a good mile into her, and then we will race her and continue on with Laugh Now next week. So a lot of the babies trained today at Tomiko. I talked to James. You know what? I didn't catch up to Mario yet. I apologize. I meant to before I did this video. He had everybody at Mohawk today apparently training. So I haven't heard from him yet. Now, if they were really, really bad, or if they were bad at all, I would have heard right away. Or if they were tremendous, he likely would have called. So I suspect they trained good. They'll be into qualify, I think, next week. I'm talking about Massive Profit, Stonebridge Ducati, maybe Peanut Butter and Jelly, usual suspects. I also trained Walk on the Moon today, 2.7 in the jog card. He was good. Almost lost him in the last turn. They said he made a break the other day. Yeah, half-mile track's not a specialty just yet. I can see what he's doing. There was a mark on the left hind ankle just above the pasture. He's just touching down low. I can see him doing it. I can see where he can sting himself and make a break. We can mitigate that a number of ways. And the easiest way will be, I think the easiest way will be just to cover it up for now. I don't think we need to rush any changes with him, so I was very happy with him also. So a good day again all around. A great day last night with my boy Tortellini. Swan's Honey raced good. I didn't jinx her. She raced great. And then Jekyll and Hyde. Good luck to our Jekyll and Hyde crew. It's hard to believe that I left Northfield Park as the first was going on the track, right? No, as the third was going on the track because they were delayed. I will be home. I'm confident that I will be in Ontario, at least at the training center, before Jekyll and Hyde races. How insane is that? So I will talk to you all very, very soon. I hope you had a good day. I had a good day. On my way to Ontario. Take care.